Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Pastor Bruce. Welcome to my podcast, One Man's Opinion. Today, I want to talk about Queen Hillary. Okay, she didn't get the crown, did she? Oh my gosh. There's so much about this, but today I want to talk to you about what's coming out in her book, the Clintons' election loss blame game. Who did she blame for the loss of her election? Well, first and foremost, it was Bernie Sanders. The guy that was running against her, that was gaining on it, that was going to take over and be the nominee for president of the United States. Well, they kind of cheated him out of that, but it's his fault. They cheated him out of winning the nominee nation for president, and it's his fault that she lost the election. And I know, because you see, Bernie Sanders was touching into the Democratic Party, and they said, this is what we want, and you, Hillary, don't offer it to us. The FBI was opening up all the investigations. Well, did she have a private server? The answer to that question is yes. She had a private server. Was there classified material on that private server? Yes, there was classified material on that private server. Did individuals who had access to it have clearance to these classified messages? No, they did not. So the FBI investigations into Hillary Clinton was justified. And it came out that she was in violation. Then James Comey came out and said, even though we have all of this evidence, she's not going to be prosecuted. So he gave her a free pass. And then when it found out that when they went to Weiner's house out in New Jersey to gather information because he was a sex offender, and they found a laptop in there that belonged to his wife, and he used it, and there was classified material on it. And that she was also, her mother also belongs to a radical newspaper over in the Middle East. She's a member of the staff. Gee, I wonder who was getting our classified information, getting the insight as to the way the American people are thinking, or the American government's thinking. So he reopened the investigation again. Why? Because somebody was having access to classified material who shouldn't have had it. And since her name was on that classified material, that made the investigation of her private server, and the unauthorized access to classified material a justifiable investigation. Now, you remember back to Russia and Vladimir Putin, she hit the reset button with to help tell the Russian people that we're going to help make Russia strong and become a strong nation again. And then we sold them 20% of our uranium in this country. But she blames the Russians and Vladimir Putin. Why? They were on her side. Anti-American forces. I don't even know who anti-American forces are, other than the people who hate us around the world. But they love her because of her Clinton Foundation, because they're giving her money for her Clinton Foundation. And if you notice, ladies and gentlemen, once she lost the election, that money dried up. So anti-American forces? No, not at all. Not for Trump. Low information voters. People who didn't know what was going on. What she's basically saying here, ladies and gentlemen, is that you're ignorant. You didn't have enough information to make the determination that she's the queen of the country and you should have put her in office. She's insulting you. Everyone who assumes she'd win. Now, everybody who's voting for her assumes she's going to win. The news media, which was a propaganda machine against Trump, assumed she was going to win. So now she's going to blame everybody who assumed she was going to win. Bad polling numbers. Well, when you don't go into Wisconsin, when you don't go into Michigan, when you tell coal miners that you're closing down the coal mines and putting them out of work, gee, I wonder why she's getting bad polling numbers. Then Obama for winning 2 terms. Now, in a way, you kind of got to look at that. You see, we had Bush in office for 2 terms, and uh, actually, we had Reagan for 2 terms, and then Bush won, and Bush screwed things up. So in came Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton was for 2 terms. Then came Bush Jr., and then Bush Jr. had 2 terms, and then came Obama. So in a way, I kind of, Obama for winning 2 terms. No, not because he won 2 terms, because he was a terrible president, and she supported him. He did things for this country that hurt us, that brought our influence and our power in the world down. When the rest of the world is looking for leadership, he turned his back on the rest of the world. And the people saw this, and they didn't want to have a 3rd term of Obama, and they would have gotten that with Hillary Clinton. People wanting change. Isn't that amazing? People who want change caused her to lose the election, because what she'd want to do? She wanted to keep the status quo. She wanted to keep destroying the American way of life, keep destroying the American attitude and the American determination. She was destroying. That's what Obama did for 8 years. She wanted to continue doing that. And the people who want to change, make America great again, put Americans first, those people were against her. Misogynists, no, I'm not even going to. Now, here's something, ladies and gentlemen, that's very interesting, okay? Suburban women. Now, here, she is a woman. She is expecting the woman vote. The National Organization of Women are out there working for her to create the people, or to get the people together to vote for her, yet suburban women didn't vote for her. Why? They saw the writing on the walls. They might have been the low-income vote or low-information voters. I don't know. But they didn't vote for her. The New York Times who endorsed her. The New York Times that wrote positive articles about her and tried to destroy Trump in some of the articles that he wrote, or they wrote on him. Television executives. What do you mean television executives? Really? Television executives are Democrats, people. How could Democrats attack Hillary Clinton when they want her to be president? And cable news. Now, the only one that was talking the truth about what was going on was Fox. And Fox was sitting there saying she's a bad presidential nominee, when the others are supporting her 110%. They have to report on the news, on the FBI investigations, on James Comey, on Bernie Sanders being cheated out of his nomination for the president of the United States. Okay? So, yeah, they had to report that stuff, but overall, only Fox News was the one that was really sitting there telling the truth about what was going on. And then Netflix and Facebook. Well, Netflix is a movie channel. How do you blame a movie channel for losing the election? And Facebook, well, yeah, Facebook and Twitter, they allow you to express your opinion and let hundreds and thousands and millions of people read your opinion and get an opinion of their own. That's what freedom of speech is all about, people. But she blames the Facebook and Twitter. And here's the big one, WikiLeaks. She blames WikiLeaks for losing the election. Hold on a minute. Did she have classified material on her server? The answer to that is yes. And did she say she deleted 30,000 emails that were about wedding plans and dinners and stuff like that? Yes. But when they came out and found and you can't really delete something, okay, from a computer. You can always call it back. They found emails from her to her daughter saying that Benghazi was a terrorist attack, but yet she looked at the families of those poor dead men and said it was because of a video. That's called a lie. And the people heard it, they understood it, and they knew what they were getting. WikiLeaks came out with information. See, they never say that the information is true or false. They just blame WikiLeaks for releasing the information. It's true. That's the problem. So they're not going to say, well, no, here we have an email from Hillary Clinton to Chelsea Clinton stating that the attack in Benghazi was not because of the video, but because of a terrorist attack. Here's physical proof. Is she going to sit there and say, I've never written that? That that's not true? That doesn't exist? She can't. It's right there. So WikiLeaks, blame them. Don't blame yourself for your stupidity and your ignorance. And then fake news. Oh my gosh. She didn't know anything about fake news until Donald Trump brought up the fake news about him. Now she's blaming fake news for losing the election. She didn't even care about fake news. Donald Trump did after the election. And Joe Biden, the Vice President of the United States. You know, ladies and gentlemen, if they would have said, Hillary, thank you very kindly, you are too controversial, step out of it, Joe Biden, would you take over? You'd probably have a different presidential outcome. Probably, not wholeheartedly, but probably. And the same with Bernie Sanders. You might have had a closer race. But now she's blaming, she goes back and she talks about how Trump doesn't believe in the democratic process. But you see, because she lost, she now blames the Electoral College and says that we should do away with the Electoral College. Well, yeah, because, you know, the Electoral College has been around for, I think it's 250 years. Every presidential election has been determined by the Electoral College, not by the popular vote. Did you know that? Some president, Reagan, got the popular vote as well as the Electoral College. But every other president hasn't won the popular vote. Now, we have the state of California, which is sitting there creating all sorts of problems now. See, they're filing lawsuit. Their attorney general is filing lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit, trying to create chaos in President Trump's administration, and he's not buying it. And they're going to become a sanctuary state as soon as Governor Brown signs it into law. And once they do that, ladies and gentlemen, they're not going to get any money from the federal government. And where's the money going to? Are they going to sue the federal government for not giving them grant money? Well, you're not going along with the program, guy. You lose. So they're talking about seceding from the union. Goodbye, California. Have a nice trip. Because, you know, you're not going to be able to make it on your own. Because once you turn your back on America, there are going to be a lot of Americans fleeing that country and that state. And it might become the country of California. Socialists. That's what's running out there. Socialism. The liberal left. We shut down California and say, you're your own country, thank you very kindly, and you need to get visas in order to come into America. And by the way, we're not buying your products anymore. And for those who are actors and actresses that are living out in California that want to create movies and sell them and show them across America, it's not going to happen anymore. They're going to lose billions of dollars once they do that. But that's all right, because they think they are better than everybody else. And it's time, ladies and gentlemen, we show California we don't care about you. And they need to leave. In-N-Out Burger has their corporate office in California. That is a great, great company. and that company has to take their corporate office out of California, out of Nevada, maybe put it in Arizona or put it in Texas, where they can get better deals, where they pay less taxes. And I guarantee you, if they don't do it now, if they wait, California is going to make it real hard for Christian businesses and like Chick-fil-A and In-N-Out Burger to be able to survive in California. So here's what Hillary's created. This negativity that the Democratic Party and the liberal left have built up through hate speech, and these are the politically correct people saying, you can't be bullies, you can't talk hate speech, you can't belittle people. Okay? They're the ones that are saying this, yet out of the other side of their mouth, they're attacking people, calling them homophobic, misogynist, Nazis, racists. Okay? They're the ones creating the problems. They're the ones creating the hatred. And when you have the propaganda machine known as the American news media fueling this and promoting this, you're going to get a negative reaction towards the president of the United States and against the Republicans. Now, Donald Trump wanted to drain the swamp. That means Republicans have to go too. All right? Nancy Pelosi needs to get out of there. Barbara Boxer needs to get out of there. Dianne Feinstein needs to get out of there. Maxine Waters needs to get out of there. These are racist people. They are racist. They're the ones that hate. They're the ones that will point fingers and attack those on the right for just being who they are, because they don't get along with those people. Nancy Pelosi, back when Obamacare was being conceived, they were running around talking about a government-controlled health care, and the Democrats that were there listening to this said, we don't want government interference. Plain and simple. You can't have our government health care program. We don't want it. And Nancy Pelosi called them un-American if they didn't support the president. Well, in other words, you believe like we do, or you're un-American. You have to be like us. And didn't she just come out and say, if you're for pro-life, you can't be a Democrat. You have to be for abortion. And did she not say in California that the Patriot prayer that was going to happen in one of the parks, she said that she didn't want the vile language, vile venomous language, I believe is what it is, spewed out there? That's hatred for religion. And what is religion really all about? What is Christianity in this country about? Love, peace, and harmony. And like any other group, Christians got morons leading the churches, hollering discrimination and hate. And you churchgoers, you need to look at those people and say, get out of here. That's not what Jesus talks about. Okay? So that's what we need to do, is we need to sit there and start saying, all right, we're not going to point fingers. We're not going to call people names. I will do it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to do it every day that I can, to point the fingers and call names at the liberal left, because today I'm sick and tired of listening to the liberal left abuse people verbally on the news, on the radio, through the tweets, through your Facebooks, and sitting there attack the rights and the conservatives in this country because they want to have socialism as our form of government here. In order for us, and what the Democrats have been trying to do ever since the 1960s, is align itself up with Europe. Ladies and gentlemen, we had a revolutionary war to separate us from Europe. And yet the Democratic Party, the Social Democrats, want to be part of Europe. If they want to be part of Europe, let them move over there to Europe. We have a democratic republic that has worked for 250 years. We don't need to align ourselves up with Europe because Europe has failed many times over. Europe opened its borders, and look at how many problems they have with open borders. The culture of the English people in England are being lost because Muslims and other people are moving in to the country, changing the culture. Now, if we want to have our own sovereignty, and I like what the president had to say, I'm putting America first, and you should put your countries first. Clean up. Every country should close their borders, set the rules, and say, this is how we're going to be. And anybody who doesn't believe in that gets kicked out. If they're Muslims, they're sent back to the Middle East. But everybody needs to start cleaning up their countries. Start saying, this is the way it's going to be. If you don't like it, get out of here. And stop doing the blame game because people aren't getting along with each other because you don't want to go with the laws. We have no-go zones in Paris. Basically what they're saying, the Muslims are saying in the no-go zones, are that you can't come into our area. We rule by our Muslim law. And you can't enforce your laws into our area. So, and again, that's a sanctuary section because if you can't go in there to enforce the laws, people can create terrorist attacks, run back, and you can't touch them. That's not the law. The law of the land. In Sweden, what they said, they brought in 90,000 Muslim immigrants into the country. They're out there raping people, destroying property, saying, we don't have to obey your laws. You have to accept us for who we are. Kick them back out. Send them back to the Middle East. They shouldn't have stayed in Sweden. They should have kicked them right out. Because Sweden gets out there and said, well, here's money. Here's a place to live. Enjoy your life here because that's the way Sweden is. And they abused it. They abused it saying, you have to accept the way we believe. We don't have to accept the way you believe. All right, ship them back. Will they do that? No. People are losing, countries are losing their identity because of the spread of the Muslim faith around the world. You see, the Muslims tried to invade Paris. They tried to eliminate the Jewish race. And then the Christians got involved in that. And yeah, they had some pretty awful warriors that would just slaughter people. And they went and they stopped the spread of the Muslim faith through violence and through hatred. They stopped that. And so they settled in the Middle East and slowly they progressed out. This is all part of the blame game for Hillary Clinton. I did not lose the election. Everybody caused me to lose the election. Now, on the night that the election results were coming in, it was just too overwhelming for her, according to news reports. So she went and took a nap. Too overwhelming that she had to go sleep. And when she woke up, she lost. Now, she had slept. Therefore, she was rejuvenated when she woke up and found out she lost, which means she should have gone down to her people, thanked them for all of the work that they did, and told them to go home. But did she? No. She was too overwhelmed. And so she never went down to thank her people. She waited till the next night. I mean, that's sad. That's not a politician. That's not a person who's capable of running this country. And just because she's the president's wife, because she was a senator, which she did a lousy job, by the way, from New York, she did a lousy job. And because she was the Secretary of State, which she did a lousy job, she gave away 20% of our uranium. She she was part of the cover-up for Benghazi. She made deals with countries who were paying into her Clinton Foundation. I mean, she was just an all around bad, bad politician. And she did not deserve the White House. So, Bernie Sanders, FBI, James Comey, the Russian, Vladimir Putin, anti American forces, low information voters, everyone who assumed she'd win, bad polling numbers, Obama for winning 2 terms, people wanting change, misogynists, suburban women, New York Times, television executives, cable news, Netflix, Facebook, Twitter, WikiLeaks, fake news, Joe Biden. Thank you. Okay? Thank you. I know none of you had anything to do with it, but thank you for not sitting there and helping her win the election. I do appreciate that. Listen, this is Pastor Bruce. Thank you very kindly for listening. I hope you have a great day, and God bless.